Hey, welcome to a new video. It's amazing to think that amidst the world's population, which consists of billions of people, some individuals stand out because of their unique qualities. These extraordinary children each possess something exceptional that sets them apart from their peers. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. When you first see Ali Hussain Khan, you might be thinking he's over 80 years old. But no, Ali is only 14 years old. He was born with a difficult condition called progeria. Progeria is very rare and causes rapid aging. There's only 80 people in the entire world who live with this condition. Ali wasn't the only one in his family with this condition. His parents had 5 other children with the same condition. Do you remember the 2008 movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button? The film was about the main character, Benjamin, a boy who was born as an old man and grew younger as he aged. This movie was based on a true story. Meet Yar Alevkov, a boy who suffers from the rare genetic syndrome of Ehlers-Danlos. Ehlers-Danlos affects the connective tissues, causing loose and fragile joints and skin. The condition has caused Yar to have loose skin like an old man, making him look much older than he actually is. Despite the challenge this presents, he's a happy and active child who loves playing with his friends. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is relatively rare and occurs in about 1 in 50,000 cases. The condition can cause complications such as chronic pain, joint dislocation, and scoliosis. However, treatment options are available to manage symptoms, improve mobility, and prevent complications. Even surgery like the one Yar underwent is not likely to improve the loose skin much. Nina Warnell was born without an immune system, which meant her body couldn't fight even the smallest infections. This made her extremely susceptible to illnesses, and she had to spend her life in a completely sterile environment. Her condition is often referred to as Bubble Girl Syndrome, which refers to individuals who have to live in a tightly controlled environment to protect them from infections. Nina's condition became apparent when she was just a few months old and started experiencing recurring ear infections. Around her 6th month, she was diagnosed with severe combined immunodeficiency, which prevented her body from producing essential immune cells. Her room is equipped with special filters that remove bacteria or viruses from the air, and her family has to wear special gowns and masks when entering her room. She still has to take medication to manage her rare condition, which occurs in 1 out of 300,000 people. Her parents were also told that she would need a bone marrow transplant to survive. The Vietnamese boy with the Superman syndrome is 10-year-old Nguyen Hang now. He has a rare genetic condition called myostatin-related muscle hypertrophy. This condition causes a reduce in body fat and an increase in the size of skeletal muscle tissue, resulting in an extremely muscular body. Despite his impressive physique, Nguyen's parents have stated he is perfectly healthy and has no medical issues. He dreams of becoming a bodybuilder when he grows up, and often watches videos of bodybuilders on YouTube. Myostatin-related muscle hypertrophy is a rare genetic condition caused by a mutation in the MSTN gene, which instructs the body on how much myostatin to produce. As a result, people with this condition can have up to twice as much muscle mass as normal, although this doesn't always translate to an increase in strength. The media in Vietnam has dubbed this condition the Superman syndrome, and he has gained international attention after photos and videos of him went viral. David Vedder can be called a hero because thanks to him, doctors have helped thousands of other children with extremely compromised immune systems. David was nicknamed Bubble Boy because at birth his immune system was compromised and doctors immediately put him in a bubble. Doctors confirmed that the boy had SCID, a severe combined immune disorder, which meant that if his parents wanted David to live, they had to accept the fact that he had to stay in a bubble forever. It sounds incredible, but the boy lived in a bubble until he was 12 years old. Even though he had to stay in the bubble to stay alive, his life was not completely isolated. David's mother explained that if you communicate with the boy, you quickly forget about the bubble. David's case helped doctors from around the world learn very important information about his disease, which has saved other lives. Candi Bramley is a super little girl for a reason, because at the age of 12, she was the weight of a 2-year-old child and is less than 3 feet or 1 meter in length. When she was born, she was so small that nurses called her Thumbelina. According to doctors, there was a slim chance she would survive, and she probably had a brain injury. But the girl made it through and was eventually diagnosed with primordial dwarfism. of which only 100 people in the whole world have. Limb differences are relatively rare and occur in about 1 in 1,000 births. There are many different types of limb differences, ranging from missing fingers or toes to the complete absence of limbs or fingers. Sophie Green, however, is a girl born without arms, and she uses her feet to do almost everything that others can do with their hands. Her family is from Utah and is unlike other families. Christiane and Jeremy Green have 7 adopted children with special needs, including Sophie. They adopted Sophie from China when she was 2 years old, while they were in the process of adopting her older sister, Lexi, who is blind. Sophie does pretty much everything that every other child her age can do, but with her feet. She writes her school assignments, paints her nails, and even feeds herself with her feet. When they got her first ice cream, Sophie grabbed it with her foot and began eating it all by herself. Sophie's learned to write, draw, and even play the piano with her feet. Isn't that incredible? Everhisco is a young girl who became famous with her rare sleep condition, which causes her to sleep only 90 minutes per night. This condition is known as Angelman syndrome. Despite her incredibly short sleep cycle, Ever is said to be happy, healthy, and full of energy. Her condition became apparent when she was just a few weeks old, and her parents noticed that she seemed to be awake for long periods during the night. As she grew older, they realized that she slept only about 90 minutes at a time, after which she would wake up fully alert and energetic. Over time, her parents learned to adapt to her unique sleep schedule and discovered that she could function on just a few hours of sleep per night. While there's limited research on short sleep duration, it's believed that people with this condition can achieve higher sleep quality in a shorter amount of time. This may be related to genetic mutations that affect the body's internal clock, or the time spent on certain sleep stages. Sari Rosita Arianti is a woman from Indonesia who has a rare medical condition that makes her look and behave like a toddler, despite being 24 years old. She's only 2 feet 10 inches or 87 meters in height and weighs approximately 44 pounds or 20 kilograms. Sari cannot walk and needs to be pushed in a wheelchair. She also struggles with verbal communication and uses baby talk to express herself. Her condition is extremely rare, and there have only been a few similar cases reported worldwide. According to reports, Sari's mother only realized that her daughter had this condition when she was 2 years old. Due to the late diagnosis, it's become challenging to treat her. Doctors have diagnosed her with a hormonal growth disorder, and the most likely diagnosis is Turner syndrome, which affects a person's growth. Turner syndrome only affects girls and occurs when one of the 2 X chromosomes is missing or incomplete. Despite her childlike appearance, Sari's body functions is like that of an adult. It's common for teenagers to want to look older than they really are. For example, they wear too much makeup or certain clothes to look more mature. But this is not the case with Zara Hartshorn, as this girl had to undergo a face change to deal with Benjamin Button syndrome. Zara was an ordinary teenage girl, but at 21, she looked like someone 60 years old. The whole thing started when Zara was only 21 years old and already looked like someone 40 years old. The girl inherited this rare genetic disease from her mother. Children at school always bullied Zara, and it was very difficult for her to make friends. But after she had surgery, bullying was no longer a problem for her. A doctor named Robert Ursek had even offered Zara a free facelift and nose correction, and of course, she agreed. All girls will probably get jealous after seeing this boy's eyelashes. Muin Bachanov is only 11 years old, and his eyelashes are 2 inches or 5 centimeters long. When the boy was asked if the length of his eyelashes makes him uncomfortable, he said no. He added that they make him feel special, and that he actually likes having them. When his father was a child, he also had long eyelashes. Abush is a 6-year-old boy who lived in the city of Jinka in southern Ethiopia. His parents, siblings, and everyone in his family have dark skin and eyes, and they don't know how Abush got his blue eyes. His piercing blue eyes are a rare combination for people of African descent. Abush's unique appearance has garnered media attention in Ethiopia and beyond, and he has even been featured in news articles and advertisements. It's unknown how likely it is for African people to have bright blue eyes, as it's truly very rare. Blue eyes are more commonly found in people of European descent, and it is often believed that the origin of blue eyes began in Europe. However, genetic variations can occur in individuals of any ethnic background. It seems that Abush has drawn a unique card from the genetic lottery. In 1984, bright eyes last drew so much attention when journalist Steve McCurry took a picture of the striking green eyes of Afghan girl Sherbat Gula. When you first see this newborn baby, you might think she's wearing a wig, but no. Japanese baby Chanko became an internet sensation when photos of her full head of hair went viral on social media. Chanko's incredible mane was the result of a relatively rare condition known as hypertrichosis, which causes excessive hair growth in certain parts of the body. In Chanko's case, this condition manifested as a full head of thick, dark hair that captured the attention of people around the world. While hypertrichosis is not necessarily common, it's also not necessarily rare, with various forms that can present at birth or develop later in life. Some forms of the rare condition can be inherited in families, while others appear to be related to hormonal imbalances. In Chanko's case, it's unclear whether her hypertrichosis is the result of a genetic mutation or another cause. Her hair became so popular that she even landed an advertising deal with her hair company, Pantene. Abdul Rashid and Shoaib Ahmed are two brothers from Pakistan, known as the Solar Kids, due to their mysterious condition where they become paralyzed every night after the sun sets. Their case baffled Pakistani doctors for a long time with no clear explanation for their condition. Doctors initially couldn't diagnose them, but eventually discovered that the brothers were suffering from a rare genetic disorder called congenital mesothelinic syndrome. This rare genetic disorder affects neuromuscular junction, the point where nerves and muscles come together. In people with this condition, the signals controlling muscle movements are disrupted, leading to muscle weakness and fatigue. Symptoms can vary greatly from person to person, but typically begin at a young age. They may have difficulty swallowing, breathing, or speaking, and they also have dropping eyelids and muscle weakness that worsens with exertion. The doctors treating the brothers believe that their bodies consume a lot of energy during the day, leading to paralysis at night. We've all heard of people suffering from giantism, but this 8-year-old boy from India has one particular body part that is gigantic. In fact, he's known as the boy with the biggest hands in the world. At one point, his hands started growing bigger and bigger, and he even had to undergo surgery. The poor boy was even called a devil child by the superstitious neighbors from his village, because they believed the boy was cursed because of his large hands. But that was not the only problem. Muhammad could not attend school because teachers said his hands would scare off other children. After the boy made headlines, a surgeon offered his help, and Muhammad underwent a series of complex surgeries on his hands. This made his parents super optimistic about his future. Let's hope he does well. Sometimes sneezing is a much-needed relief, but not for Caitlin Thornley, because this girl sneezes thousands of times a day. She does so at least twice a minute, and sometimes she sneezes as many as 20 times a minute for 15 minutes straight. But it wasn't always like this. It started when she turned 12 years old, and doctors explained that she had a rare condition called tic. Qian Hongyang gained national attention in China after photos of her playing basketball on her hands only went viral. She lost both of her legs in a traffic accident at a young age. She grew up in rural Luliang County in the southwestern province of Yunnan in China. Qian's family had to adopt her needs in innovative ways. In 2005, after the Chinese press drew attention to her situation, she was able to travel to Beijing to receive free artificial limbs from the China Rehabilitation Research Center. 2 years later, she joined a local swimming club. When she first got into the water, she initially struggled and felt like she was drowning. With the dedication that even adults don't always have, she persisted in her training and spent 4 hours a day on the sport. But as you probably guessed from the viral photos, swimming is not her favorite sport. Basketball is. In addition to basketball, Qian has participated in diving competitions, often using her specially designed prosthetics. Her determination and resilience have earned her multiple awards and recognition, including the Courage Award at the Laureus World Sports Awards in 2012. Shiloh Pepin was born with a rare condition called cyranomylia, also known as mermaid syndrome, which affects only 1 in 100,000 live-born babies. This condition is characterized by the fusion of the legs, making them appear as a single limb. Cyranomylia is a complex condition that is not fully understood. Most babies born with this condition have abnormalities in their gastrointestinal or reproductive systems, as was the case with Shiloh. In Shiloh's case, the fusion extended throughout her entire lower body, including her bladder, uterus, and intestinal channels, making her condition even more challenging. Unfortunately, this condition is almost always fatal. The girl underwent treatment for 8 years and underwent more than 150 surgeries in her life. Doctors told her to spend as much time at home as possible and try to live for as long as possible. Unfortunately, in 2009, it was the last year for Shiloh. She was only 10 years old and passed away due to complications from pneumonia. If you ever got tired of your eye color, imagine having silver eyes. Do you think it's a blessing or a curse? This little girl can answer that question. Primrose Austin was born with a rare eye condition that left her in terrible pain. Her eyes were silver, which caught the attention of her adoptive parents when they saw a photo of her on Facebook. The girl had been neglected in an orphanage in China and never learned basic skills like holding her head up or drinking from a bottle. When she woke up in crisis 8 months ago, 11 specialists were consulted to figure out what was causing her misery. An MRI scan revealed that she had a rare 6p25 syndrome, responsible for various eye complications, and her eyes had to be removed. Her adoptive parents believe it was the right decision and that it relieved the source of her pain. The girl is now adapting to life without sight and learning a touch-based form of sign language to communicate. Her condition has improved dramatically since undergoing laser treatment to reduce the pressure behind her eyes. Do you believe werewolves exist? No? Well, maybe after seeing a boy named Lite Padar you will, because this Indian boy is called a werewolf for having hair all over his body. Even doctors were surprised when they saw that his face, arms, and other parts of his body are covered with a rather thick amount of hair that's 5 centimeters long. In addition, the hair would continue to grow non-stop. Surprisingly, the children at school do not really dare to mock the boy. In fact, he's a very popular boy who wants to become a police officer one day. However, his uniqueness does cause him to have problems with his health sometimes, as the hair is way too long and causes difficulties with his breathing and vision. Needless to say, Lalit's parents have been trying to find a cure for their son, but for now, all doctors say there's no cure for his condition. Luciana Wolkin is a girl with a rare condition that only 800 people in the entire world suffer from. You may not believe it, but she's literally becoming a statue. This is because her muscles, tendons, and ligaments are becoming as hard as bones. And unfortunately, there's no cure that can help her. There's a high risk that she'll become immobile, but doctors are still hoping it won't come to that. You would think that you need your brain for all sorts of tasks, like making decisions, solving problems, and storing memories. But the following story will surprise you. In the past, scientific research suggested that both sides of the brain must be intact to lead a normal life. But a rare condition called Rasmussen's encephalitis has changed this belief. Jody Miller is someone who was diagnosed with this condition. She often suffered from severe seizures on the right side of her brain, along with the severe paralysis on the left side of her body. Despite doctors' attempts to cure Jody, nothing worked, making hemispherectomy the only choice. Hemispherectomy is a surgical procedure in which half of the brain is removed. This type of treatment is something you would only expect to see in the television series like Grey's Anatomy, but this was real. Surgeons removed the right side of Jody's brain. The procedure was successful, and with the help of physical therapy, she recovered well. Jody's left brain hemisphere was able to take over the role of her missing right hemisphere. This ability is called neuroplasticity, a phenomenon in which the brain rewires and modifies its connections to restore lost functions. Nowadays, Jody has overcome all sorts of setbacks and challenges. She graduated from college, won multiple scholarships and awards, and now leads a healthy life, all with just half of her brain. Neeve and Nelly were conjoined twins who were joined at the head. They were born on August 27, 1999, which means they are now 22 years old. Although doctors initially gave them a minimal chance of survival, they have defied these predictions and managed to face the difficult challenges they were confronted with. An interesting aspect of their condition is that they share a portion of their brain, which has led people to speculate that they can read each other's thoughts. While this is likely not the case, they both share a vein that prevents them from undergoing surgery to separate them. They've also shared that one of the challenges they face as conjoined twins is that they can't directly look at each other and instead have to use mirrors to see each other's faces. Despite this, they have developed strong communication and work together to navigate daily life. Neeve and Nelly have become popular on social media and have used their platform to raise awareness about their condition. They also started their own YouTube channel, where they share more about their life and experiences as conjoined twins. Vernon Josi is a boy from Gujarat in western India, who was born with a right foot that now weighs 12 pounds or 5.4 kilograms. Despite his condition, he can walk and run normally, but he's been bullied by other children all his life and cannot go to school. His father has taken him to over 100 doctors in India and abroad, but no one's ever been able to diagnose his condition. Vernon's condition has baffled hundreds of doctors from India and abroad, and they've suggested that he could suffer from conditions ranging from water retention to a hormonal imbalance, but no one's been able to recommend a treatment. His father's tried all branches of medical sciences, from homeopathy to orthopedic specialists, but without success. Despite his condition, the boy can walk and run normally, and he feels no pain in his leg or foot. He can even sit on a bicycle without any support. However, his foot continues to grow with age and length, and it's likely that his foot will continue to grow to incredible proportions. Many doctors have suggested amputating his leg, but his father wants to avoid this, as it would permanently disable his son and make him forever dependent on others. Let's hope the boy is doing well now. You've probably seen people with different colored eyes where one is blue and the other is brown. But have you ever seen two brothers who have exactly the same color eyes? Meet Mehmet and Kerem, two brothers who were born with the condition known as complete heterochromia, meaning their eyes have two different colors. Eli Thompson is not someone born once in 1,000 years. He's 1 in 197 million. Eli was born without a nose due to a rare facial abnormality called arynia. Although the condition is extremely rare, Eli's spirit and resilience inspire people all over the world. Even with his unique facial structure, Eli is always smiling and talking to everyone he meets. Even as a baby, he learned to communicate using baby sign language, asking for his favorite treat, cookies. His love for dessert reached a point where he received the Cookie Award from his daycare. But let's dive a little deeper into Eli's condition. When Eli was 5 years old, he underwent a tracheotomy. This procedure created an opening in the windpipe, and a tube was inserted to help him breathe. When he was 7 months old, Eli met another child, Tessa Evans from Ireland, who also had arynia but was a little older than Eli. Their meeting was a touching moment. Connie Lloyd was born with a red birthmark that covered her nose, earning her the nickname Clown Nose. The birthmark, also known as a vascular malformation, is caused by the overgrowth of blood vessels in the affected area. According to reports, doctors first discovered the birthmark when Connie's mother was 34 weeks pregnant, during a routine ultrasound. However, they could not determine the severity of the condition until Connie was born. The birthmark began growing when Connie was just 1 day old and continued to develop, becoming more prominent as she grew older. At the age of 3, Connie underwent a 3-hour surgery to remove the birthmark. Her mother's openly spoken about the decision to undergo the procedure, saying it was a difficult decision to make. The reason she made this decision was to protect Connie from any potential bullying or harassment in the future. Today, she's 8 years old, and it's said that Connie leads a happy and healthy life. Now only a small spot on her nose remains as a reminder of the past. Meet the real-life Pinocchio. Ollie Trezise is a boy from Mustang, Wales, who was born with a rare condition called encephalocele. This means that his brain grew through a hole in his skull and into his nose, making him resemble the Disney character Pinocchio. His mother first discovered something that was different about Ollie at her 20-week ultrasound scan. Ollie underwent several painful surgeries to enable him to breathe, including a successful 2-hour operation at Birmingham Children's Hospital. This took place in November of 2014, and it removed much of the brain fluid to reconstruct his nose. Due to the rarity of the condition, treatment is only available in Birmingham and 3 other specialized centers in the UK. Ollie's mother has spoken about the hurtful comments her son has received from strangers, saying he's ugly and should have never been born. Ollie is now fully recovered and described by his mother as a lively little boy who loves splashing in his paddling pool and playing with his sister. In addition to the surgeries to enable Ollie to breathe, he will need more surgeries in the future, but doctors are waiting to see how his skull develops before performing more invasive procedures. Narayana is an 8-year-old girl called the Siberian Snow White. The girl is an albino, and she has surprised many modeling agencies with her unique appearance. As you can see, she has beautiful pale white hair with a light complexion. Interestingly, there's no other albinos in her family, and in fact, she was the only one with white hair. Many advertising agencies and companies invite her to model for them. but Narayana's mother thinks she's still too young for that. Annabelle Whitehouse is a 12-year-old girl from the United Kingdom who has a rare skin condition called bullosychthyosis. This causes her to lose skin up to 14 times a day. This painful condition has made it difficult for her to carry out daily activities. Annabelle's skin changes were noticed by her parents when she was only 6 years old. Despite seeking medical help, her skin worsened over the years. For example, she has to spend hours in a bath every day to soften her skin. Her condition affects only a small number of people worldwide, and there is currently no cure. Treatment options for Annabelle include moisturizers, ointments, and antibiotics to prevent infections. However, more research is needed to better understand the condition, develop effective treatments, and possibly find a cure. Luis Manuel Gonzalez is a boy from Mexico who gained global attention in 2017 because he weighed as much as a 10-year-old child when he was just a few months old. At birth, Luis weighed a healthy 7.7 pounds or 3.5 kilograms, but his weight started rapidly increasing. And by the time he was a few months old, he weighed over 28 pounds or 13 kilograms. Due to his unusual condition, Luis was referred to different hospitals and specialists in Mexico, but doctors couldn't determine the cause of his rapid weight gain. Although some sources have reported that Luis has been diagnosed with Prader-Willi syndrome, this has not been confirmed by medical professionals. In fact, doctors have been unable to identify specific diagnoses or underlying causes for Luis's condition, making his case highly unique. His mother, Isabel, has been open about her struggle to care for Luis and the impact his condition has had on their family. Gabby Schol is a young ballerina from Missouri who at the age of 9 lost part of her leg to osteosarcoma, a type of bone cancer that affected her knee. Despite this, Gabby didn't let it stop her from pursuing her passion for dancing. Thanks to a revolutionary form of surgery called rotationplasty, doctors reattached her foot to the rest of her leg at a 180-degree angle, allowing her to fit into a prosthetic and continue dancing. A year after her surgery, she took her first successful step and returned to the dance studio. Gabby's story garnered a lot of attention on social media and in news broadcasts. She even appeared on national television shows like Ellen DeGeneres and Good Morning America. In addition to her dance career, Gabby is also a national spokesperson for an awareness organization about her condition called the Truth 365, where she advocates for more funding and research to combat the disease. Trez Johnson is more than just an unusual boy, because he literally has two faces. He was born with a rare condition called craniofacial duplication. Doctors were extremely pessimistic when the boy was born and explained to the parents that their son would probably not survive. However, Trez didn't give up, and in 2017, he celebrated his 13th birthday. What a miracle, huh? Landon Johnson was a 7-year-old boy from Lincolnton, North Carolina, who had a rare form of dwarfism called MVID. This condition affects the digestive system and can make it difficult for individuals to absorb nutrients. It's a rare genetic disorder that affects the lining of the intestine. This can lead to severe malnutrition and other complications. It's usually diagnosed in children and can be life-threatening. Despite this, Landon was known for his radiant smile and infectious personality. According to the family, he had a great impact on their lives and their community and their village. Landon's family eventually created a Facebook page to share his journey and raise awareness about his condition. Another well-known case of MVID is that of Jacob Giselle, who was diagnosed at birth and featured in a documentary called Gut Reaction. This documentary describes Jacob's struggle and impact MVID had on his life and that of the people around him. Katie Renfro is a young girl from Texas who courageously battles a mysterious and unarmed medical condition that has never been seen before. Katie's parents have tirelessly advocated for her care and treatment. They traveled to the Mayo Clinic, one of the top hospitals in America, for genetic research, but the results were inconclusive. Doctors have worked with Katie's family to manage her symptoms, which currently include developmental delays, epileptic seizures, feeding tubes for nutrition, and respiratory support. Although Katie's condition remains unnamed, her family has shared her story in hopes of raising awareness and connecting with other families who may have a similar experience. Katie's condition has required her to undergo numerous surgeries to help with her reflux. She's also had other surgeries to address her feeding and digestive issues. Her parents shared in an interview that the girl has had more surgeries than the average adult. Ulrich is a boy from Madagascar who was born with severely bent legs due to a medical condition called arthrogryposis. This caused his muscles to not develop at the same rate as his bones, leading to his legs bending backward. Through a fundraising effort, he underwent surgery to correct his legs. In 2019, the organization Mercy Ships arrived in Madagascar, and Ulrich was selected to undergo surgery to straighten his legs. He underwent a series of operations on board the ship, gradually straightening his bones. The before and after photos of him post-surgery are remarkable. The surgery was performed on board the Mercy Ship, a floating hospital that provides medical care to underserved communities in developing countries. They shared Ulrich's story on their website, detailing his journey from being unable to walk to proudly standing upright after a successful operation. Meet Zach Brown, a boy nicknamed Jaws because he has shark teeth. This 8-year-old boy noticed one day that he had extra teeth. In fact, the new and adult teeth behind his baby teeth were growing without pushing them out. Other than that, Zach is a normal boy, but the extra row of teeth is very unique. According to Zach himself, an extra row of teeth doesn't hurt, nor does he have any problems eating. Even though Zach is proclaimed as Jaws and the boy with the shark teeth, his teeth are not as sharp as a shark's. The only thing he doesn't like about his uniqueness is that he has to brush his teeth longer than usual. Meet Yar Yolana, a 5-year-old girl from Nigeria who holds the title of most beautiful girl in the world. Her curly hair and big eyes can charm anyone, so no wonder she had this title. There's no denying that she has extraordinary looks, and thanks to this, she has had many offers from modeling agencies around the world. A little girl who receives compliments every day for her fairy tale beauty big eyes is one of the most unique children in the world. But her life is not as picturesque as some people might think. Milani Dickerson was born with Axenfeld-Rieger syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that can affect eye development. Her striking appearance with unusually large eyes has gained attention on social media. Although her eyes can cause health problems, including glaucoma, Milani's family is committed to providing her with the care and support she needs. Axenfeld-Rieger syndrome, also known as ARS, is a complex and rare genetic disorder that can be difficult to diagnose and treat. It's caused by abnormalities in certain genes that play a role in the formation of the eyes and face during embryonic development. ARS is characterized by malformation of the iris, cornea, and lens. People with ARS may also suffer from dental abnormalities and heart defects. In Indonesia, a baby was born with a rare and complex medical condition where his conjoined twin did not fully develop in the womb. As a result, they had 2 faces and 2 brains with only 1 head. The baby named Jilong Anda is technically classified as a conjoined twin, but has only 1 body with 2 arms and 2 legs, making this extremely rare. Due to this condition, Jilong cannot breastfeed and has to receive milk through a tube. Doctors in his area have told his parents that they're unable to operate, as his condition is so rare that they're unsure if he'll be able to survive long term. Hydrocephalus, caused by an accumulation of fluid in the brain, is also a complication Jilong has to deal with. The medical condition can cause learning disabilities, speech, vision, or memory problems, or epilepsy in many newborn babies. Lucy Pierce is a teenager from Sheffield, South Yorkshire, who has a rare skin condition called dermatographia. This condition causes an allergic reaction where cells beneath the skin's surface release histamine upon the slightest pressure, resulting in an itchy rash. However, Lucy uses her condition to her advantage by using her arm as a notepad to study for exams. She writes study material on her skin and finds that she remembers the info much more easily that way. The notes, however, disappear after 30 minutes, allowing her to test her memory and efficiently review. Lucy was diagnosed with dermatographia 3 years ago and was initially concerned about what was happening to her body. But she's grown to love her condition and finds it helpful for learning important info. She can draw and write with her fingers, leaving a lasting imprint. Lucy hopes to go to university to study dentistry and continues to use her skin as a study tool. The following story about a 13-year-old girl from India named Twink is pretty incredible and is still a big mystery. When the girl is sad, she doesn't cry fluids, but blood. According to several articles, she's been living like this for 2 years, and the blood would sometimes even start running from her eyes for no reason. The doctors don't know what to do, and they're sure there's no cure for this condition. A well-known doctor from Dallas named George Buchanan said that he never heard of anyone bleeding from the eyes. So even today, this incredible mystery remains unsolved. How do you think this is possible? Or could the story not really be true? Let us know your opinion in the comments. Probably not, but Farouk James, an 8-year-old boy from the United Kingdom, has these problems every day because of his natural long hair. According to several articles, his hair is said to have been the reason he was denied admission to several schools. The boy's mother tells that to this day, she still hasn't found a school for him. Pretty bizarre, huh? Jackson Buell was a 5-year-old boy who unfortunately led a very short life. He was born with microhydranencephaly, a rare congenital defect that caused him to be missing 80% of his brain and only part of his skull remained. Jackson's prognosis was grim. Although he only lived for 5 years, he was known as the Miracle Boy because of his remarkable strength and intellectual abilities. Although he could not walk or talk, Jackson's parents shared his many milestones through their Facebook page. Through photos and videos, followers saw Jackson communicating with sounds and eye contact, smiling and bringing joy to those around him. The boy's story raised awareness for those who also had this rare condition and emphasized the unique needs that were required. People born with microhydranencephaly typically have abnormally small skulls, and in severe cases, only a small part of the skull or brain tissue is missing, as was the case with Jackson. The condition has affected only a few hundred people worldwide, making it exceptionally rare to have. Even before he was born, Evan Fasciano's parents knew his life would be difficult. He would have a skin condition so rare and challenging that it would not only affect his quality of life, but also the length of his life. Harlequin ichthyosis, as it's called, is a rare genetic skin disorder that affects approximately 1 in 1 million births worldwide. Let that number sink in. This condition is caused by a genetic mutation that affects the normal development of the skin, resulting in cracked and thickened skin. Babies born with harlequin ichthyosis typically have thick, diamond-shaped plates of skin, exposing the underlying tissues of the body. The condition affects many parts of the body, including the face, arms, legs, and torso, and can lead to difficulty breathing and problems with regulating body temperature. Evan receives at least 2 baths a day to remove the excess skin that grows daily. Fortunately, as he got older, his parents were able to get him a wheelchair to help him with mobility. This is one of those cases worthy of an entire episode of Grey's Anatomy. Jessica Brett, a 9-year-old girl from Lincoln, United Kingdom, underwent a groundbreaking balloon operation to remove a large birthmark on her scalp. Doctors were concerned that the birthmark could become cancerous, and traditional treatments like skin grafts were not feasible due to the large skin surface that needed to be covered. Instead, specialists used a groundbreaking technique to insert 4 balloons under Jessica's scalp to stretch the skin. After 6 months, the excessive skin tissue created by the balloons was used to replace the birthmark. The procedure was a first in the UK and had only been attempted once before in the United States. Jessica's mother, Becky, spoke about her daughter's courage during the lengthy process and how she powered through it. Jessica has since cut her hair in the style of her favorite pop star, Jessie J, and while she has scars, they are rapidly fading. The balloon procedure had been deemed a success, and many offer hope for others with similar conditions. There are a whole bunch of fictional characters we know from movies and cartoons, but it's almost impossible to imagine that such people exist in real life, right? Meet Nguyen Hang, who is called the Fish Boy. He is from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam and has a rare genetic skin disorder that makes his skin flaky and dry. The boy lives in a hospital unit because he needs to be cared for by doctors 24/7. According to several articles, his skin is believed to be affected by dioxin, a toxic substance used during the war in Vietnam. It's well known that the effect of dioxin can last for up to 5 generations and cause different mental and/or physical abnormalities. The heart is one of the most important organs we have, and can you imagine how dangerous it would be if we were born with our hearts on the outside? This is exactly what happened to Versivia. As we can see, her heart is on the outside of her chest. She was born this way, so her heart is not protected by her rib cage and abdominal muscles. As we can see, her heart is on the outside of her chest. She was born this way, so her heart is not protected by her rib cage and abdominal muscles. In fact, this case is so unique that it only occurs in 1 in a million births. Imagine the worst neck pain you've ever experienced. It's probably nothing compared to what Mahendra Ariwar went through. His unusual condition, known as CVJ, made it impossible for him to hold his head up straight. To hold his head up, he relied on a metal frame specially designed for him. Despite being born into poverty, Mahendra's story captured the hearts of many around the world. A crowdfunding campaign was launched to finance his medical treatment. Celebrities such as Oprah Winfrey helped raise awareness and contributed to the cause. Unfortunately, it was not enough, as Mahendra passed away at just 8 months old. The damage to Mahendra's spinal cord was too severe. The abnormalities can be fatal and can even present themselves in later stages of life. We also don't know the possible causes of his neck growing this way, although some studies suggest genetics may play a role in its development. Zoe Lush is also known as the girl made of glass. You won't wish this condition on anyone, not even your worst enemy. Zoe's a young girl born with a rare genetic disorder called osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as brittle bone disease. This condition makes her bones extremely fragile, causing them to break with slight impact or pressure. Zoe has experienced hundreds of fractures in her short life and has undergone numerous surgeries to repair broken bones and alleviate her pain. This rare genetic disorder affects approximately 1 in 20,000 people worldwide. It's caused by mutations in the genes that affect the production of type 1 collagen, a protein that provides structure and strength to bone tissue. There's different forms of osteogenesis imperfecta with varying degrees of severity. Some individuals may only experience a few fractures in their lifetime, while others like Zoe may have hundreds of fractures that significantly impact their quality of life. This is the smallest baby ever born, and she almost looks unreal. Kwek Yuan is a baby who was born prematurely in June 2020, weighing only 212 grams. She was born 4 months premature via emergency cesarean section, after her mother was diagnosed with preeclampsia, a condition that caused dangerously high blood pressure and could be fatal. Kwek spent 13 months at the National University Hospital in Singapore, where she underwent extensive treatment and relied on various machines to survive. During her hospital stay, she received various types of treatments, and her health and development progressed well under these conditions. Despite the odds, she survived and discharged from the hospital in July 2021, weighing almost 14 pounds or 6.3 kilograms. Since then, she's grown into a healthy and happy 2-year-old girl, now weighing the typical weight for children her age. However, she still has chronic lung disease and requires a nasal feeding tube for milk. Her parents, who are permanent residents of Singapore, were able to afford her extended hospital stay through a crowdfunding campaign that raised $270,000. Have you ever heard of a tribe somewhere in Africa who wear rings around their necks to make them longer? This following story, however, is not about the tribe, but about a Chinese boy named Fu Wengu, who has an extremely long neck. He was born this way, and in addition, he suffers from some other disorders. Instead of having only 7 vertebrae in the neck, which we all have, Fu has 10. This makes it difficult for the boy to walk. His father finally decided it was better for the boy to undergo surgery that will make his life easier. Runa Beum, the Indian baby born with hydrocephalus, drew global attention when photos of her head went viral. People rallied for her, and the Indian government paid for her medical treatment at the prestigious hospital in Delhi. The condition was caused by an accumulation of fluid in Runa's brain, and it left her unable to move or communicate. It can occur at any age, and according to search results, hydrocephalus occurs in 2 out of every 1,000 births in the United States. Although the diagnosis and treatment of hydrocephalus are more common, Runa's case was exceptional. While the surgery and treatment initially led her to a reduction in the size of her head, Runa's health remained fragile. Unfortunately, the girl passed away at the age of 5 in 2017. Remember that movie with Brad Pitt where he seemingly aged in reverse? It's a real condition. The body of a 4-year-old looks like that of an 80-year-old, but the mind is that of a child. Basit Hussein was born with this rare condition called progeria. Children with progeria age rapidly and often have a distinctive appearance, including baldness, wrinkled skin, and a small stature. The condition usually leads to health problems such as heart disease and strokes. Basit's appearance made him a target of bullying, but the boy remained strong and managed to get through that period. However, it's prevented him from attending school and has isolated him from the outside world. Progeria only affects about 1 in 4 million people worldwide. It's caused by a mutation in a single gene that leads to production of an abnormal protein that accumulates in cells and disrupts normal function. This condition is typically diagnosed in early childhood and unfortunately has no cure. Charlotte Garside is known as the world's smallest girl. Born in the United Kingdom with a rare form of primordial dwarfism, she was born in 2007, weighing less than 2 pounds or 1 kilogram, and measuring less than 10 inches or 25 centimeters. Despite initial expectations by medical staff that she would not survive longer than a year, she fought through her illness and celebrated her 15th birthday in 2022. Charlotte's parents have devoted their lives to caring for her, including her daily needs, education, and medical bills and expenses. Primordial dwarfism is a rare genetic condition that causes severe growth restrictions, making individuals significantly smaller than their peers. Charlotte's condition means she has a weakened immune system and cysts on her liver. Her condition is so rare that doctors have not yet given it a name. Globally, there are only 200 known individuals with this condition. Despite her small stature, Charlotte has a big personality and is said to love music and dancing. Mia Aflalo is a 5-year-old girl from Tel Aviv in Israel who became known for beautiful thick hair. She became an Instagram sensation, and pictures of her went viral all over the internet. However, there were people who were skeptical and said that her hair was fake. But that's probably just jealousy, because many girls dream of having that kind of hair. These days, Mia is a model. She has several stylists, and she really enjoys doing photo shoots. April Starr is a 10-year-old model from Baltimore, Maryland, who was diagnosed with vitiligo at the age of 6. Vitiligo is a skin condition that causes loss of skin pigment, resulting in white spots or patches on the skin. It affects more than 1% of the population worldwide. What April has is called an autoimmune disease, which means the immune system attacks and destroys the cells that produce pigment in the skin. Despite being bullied by peers, April has embraced her unique beauty and become an online sensation by sharing inspiring selfies. Her story has been highlighted in various media outlets, and she has inspired many people around the world to embrace their differences. In 2018, April was named a Vitiligo Ambassador for the American Vitiligo Research Foundation, and she uses her platform to raise awareness about the condition and promote self-confidence. One of the key messages she shares with others is to set confidence goals instead of fear goals, and she encourages people to embrace self-love and positivity. April is often compared to Winnie Harlow, both having unique features and inspiring figures, but they have their own individual styles and paths in the fashion world. Victoria Kamada is a young girl from New Jersey who was born with a rare condition called tibial hemimelia, which left her with a leg that was essentially twisted backward. This condition affects 1 in a million babies and can require complex surgeries to correct. Despite many obstacles ahead, Victoria's parents were determined to give their daughter a normal life. And after a series of challenging surgeries, she was finally able to take her first steps at the age of 3. The surgeries Victoria underwent aimed to correct the position of her foot and ankle. The first surgery took place when Victoria was just 9 months old, followed by 6 more surgeries over the course of several years. The final surgery involved a bone transplant from her hip to construct a shin bone, which was then positioned correctly. The Kamada family received assistance from Dr. Dora Paley, a world-renowned surgeon specializing in limb lengthening procedures. Some people are born with an extra finger or toe and spend the rest of their lives hiding it or accepting it. However, this young boy chose not to hide his extra fingers. Akshay Sakina is an Indian boy born with extra fingers, specifically 34 fingers and toes, due to a genetic condition called polydactyly. This condition causes people to have extra fingers or toes, and in Ashkat's case, he had 7 fingers on each hand and 10 toes on each foot. His condition garnered international attention, and when he broke the Guinness World Record for the most fingers and toes on a living person, he underwent several surgeries to remove the extra fingers and reconstruct his thumbs. Polydactyly can be hereditary and can occur in various forms, such as having extra fingers or toes on only one hand or foot, or having extra fingers and toes on both hands and feet. Treatment for polydactyly typically involves surgeries to remove the extra fingers and reconstruct the affected area. We already talked about the longest hair or the longest eyelashes, but Isaac Johnson is a guy known for his big mouth. Yeah, we're not kidding. Because Isaac has the biggest mouth in the world and has been on the list of the Guinness Book of World Records. The teen broke the official record with his mouth opening, which now measures 4 inches or 10.2 centimeters from his upper teeth to his lower teeth. Angus Pals, a boy from Manchester, is the only known person in England who stopped growing at the age of 3 and is about the size of a toddler. He has a rare genetic condition that affects his growth and development, called MOPD type 1. Less than 1,000 people in the United States have this, and it can occur in newborns. People with MOPD type 1 experience a range of symptoms, including microcephaly, which means small head size, developmental delays, and digestive complications. Angus is now 13 years old, and despite his challenges, he remains a cheerful child. He's also an inspiring person to many people around him because he shows a lot of courage and always has a positive attitude. Angus has only a handful of teeth and must be fed through a tube, but he enjoys playing video games, watching TV, and talking to his friends. Currently, there's no effective treatment for MOPD type 1, and treatment typically involves social and medical support. Individuals are helped in this way to live their lives as fully and comfortably as possible. Didier Montevo from Colombia, also known as Turtle Boy, was born with a rare condition called CMN, congenital melanocytic nevus. Didier's condition is incredibly rare, affecting only 1 in 500,000 newborns. This condition causes large pigmented birthmarks to develop on the skin, often in irregular shapes and sizes. In Didier's case, the birthmark covered most of his back and resembled a turtle shell. At the age of 6, he underwent a groundbreaking surgery in London to remove the large birthmark on his back. At that time, the turtle-like birthmark accounted for 20% of his body's weight. Even his doctors said that Didier must have felt like he was carrying a sack of potatoes on his back. The surgery was performed by a surgeon who flew to Colombia to examine Didier before taking him to London for the procedure. After the surgery, Didier's back was left with large scars, but he could finally live a normal life, freed from the burden of his once turtle back. Can you imagine the relief of having that weight lifted off you? Rama Haruna, also known as the girl who lived in a plastic bowl, was a Nigerian teenager born without limbs. She could not walk, eat, or care for herself, and she spent her entire life being carried in a plastic bowl by her family members. Her story gained international attention after a photo of her being carried by her brother went viral on social media. Rama was born in Kano, a city in northern Nigeria, in 1995. Her parents quickly realized that she was not like other babies because she had no visible limbs. Despite numerous medical tests and consultations, doctors could not diagnose her condition. Rama's head continued to grow normally, but the rest of her body remained underdeveloped. Her mother cared for her and carried her everywhere until Rama was old enough for her siblings to take over. Her brother was often seen carrying her in a plastic bowl, which he balanced on his head. The girl reportedly experienced constant pain due to her condition, and she could not go to school or participate in activities like other children her age. Despite her limitations, Rama had dreams of becoming a successful businesswoman. She hoped to open a grocery store and support her family. Unfortunately, she passed away December 25, 2016, at the age of 19. Lola and CLA Harley were born with a rare condition called microcephaly, which means you're born with an extremely small head and brain. Claire was the older sister and suffered from dwarfism and other rare conditions. Lola was younger and had microcephaly and dwarfism. When the sisters were born, doctors said they had no chance of living more than 1 year. However, they showed the whole world that they're real fighters, as Claire lived to be 13 and Lola lived to be 17. Ava and Leah are American models, actresses, and influencers who gained fame at the age of 7 when they were recognized as the most beautiful twins in the world. The sisters were born in Orange County, California, as daughters of Jackie and Kevin Clements. They also have an older brother, Chase Clements, who is also a model. It seems that good genes run in the family. In just 4 years, Ava and Leah have built a huge following on social media, with millions of followers on Instagram. They have been featured in various prestigious publications, such as Harper's Bazaar Brazil and Vanity Fair Italy. If you're wondering how it's possible that twin sisters look so identical, here's a fun fact. Identical twins almost look exactly alike because they develop from a fertilized egg that splits into 2 identical embryos. According to some estimates, about 30% of all twins are identical. Every now and then, a photo of an unusual baby goes viral. Sometimes it's a hoax, but the following photo is so incredible that it actually made people doubt whether the baby was real or not. From the looks of it, this could possibly be a baby born with the darkest skin color ever recorded in history. Allegedly, this baby was born in South Africa. The photo of this baby is so astonishing that there was rumors of it earning a spot in the Guinness Book of World Record as the darkest baby ever. However, we can dispute this fact, as Guinness World Records doesn't register skin tones like these. Nevertheless, the question remains whether this baby is real or not. It could be possible, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Soner Engin is a baby boy from Turkey who was born with a heart-shaped birthmark on his forehead. The birthmark has captured the attention of people worldwide and has been nicknamed the Love Baby due to his unique and adorable appearance. His father was the first to notice the birthmark when a nurse wiped blood off his newborn son's head. He was surprised and overwhelmed when he saw the heart-shaped mark on his baby's forehead. Soner's father described seeing the birthmark as a gift from God and emphasized that no one in the family had any negative feelings towards the birthmark. Soner's story and his heart-shaped birthmark have appeared in various news articles and have gone viral on social media. People from around the world have fallen in love with this cute baby, and many have expressed their admiration for the unique and beautiful birthmark on his forehead. If you're looking at Alexandra Young, her age is hard to estimate. You will be completely surprised when you find out that she's only 14 years old. Alexandra was born in the Philippines, and she's just under 4 foot 6 inches, or 140 centimeters, while a child her age should normally be around 5 foot 5 or 165 centimeters. The girl has a rare condition that makes her body look more like that of an adult. When Alexandra posted photos of herself on the internet, she quickly became an internet sensation. Samson Burns lived 10 times faster than other children. But how, you might ask? Well, Sam lived with progeria, a rare genetic disorder that caused him to age rapidly. He shared his story through public speeches and the documentary Life According to Sam. Sam was born in 1996 in Massachusetts and was diagnosed with progeria at the age of 2. Progeria is an extremely rare condition and occurs only once in 4 to 8 million births. It causes children to age 8 to 10 times faster than normal, leading to rapid decline in health, including heart disease and other age-related conditions. But Sam never let this discourage him, and he never gave up. He excelled in school, played various sports, and had great musical talent. He also became a TEDx speaker and shared his story with millions of people around the world. Unfortunately, Sam passed away in 2014 at the age of 17, but his legacy lives on. Sam's parents, Leslie Gordon and Scott Burns, continue to work towards finding a cure for progeria. Kahat Kumar is a young girl from Punjab, India, who was born with a rare condition that causes her to rapidly gain weight. According to reports, she had a normal weight at birth, but began to gain tremendous size at just 4 months old. Her weight continued to increase, and by 2017, she weighed 38 pounds, equivalent to the weight of an average 4-year-old child. The girl's parents expressed concerns about her condition, as she struggles to breathe and even has difficulty sleeping. They eventually sought medical help for their daughter, but doctors were reportedly puzzled about what was causing her constant craving for food. Her case has been described by doctors as a medical mystery. She's been examined by numerous doctors and medical experts, but they cannot pinpoint a specific cause for her excessive weight gain. Some doctors have suggested that she might have a hormonal imbalance, while others speculated that her condition could be related to a genetic disorder. Arya Perman was named the heaviest child in the world because his weight was an incredible 423 pounds or 192 kilograms. The 10-year-old boy from Indonesia had to overcome several plastic surgeries to lose weight so he could return to school normally. But how did he get so fat in the first place? Well, unhealthy food. Arya normally ate at least 5 meals a day consisting of noodles, rice, meat, and fish, but the biggest problem was that he consumed it in large quantities along with huge amounts of cola. Lymphedema is a condition in which excess fluid accumulates in tissues, causing a swelling in different parts of the body. Bella Roberts was diagnosed with this condition at the age of 6 and has been living with lymphedema since then. This genetic disorder is presented at birth or develops later in life due to an inherited abnormality in the lymphatic system. Bella has become an advocate for people with lymphedema by raising awareness about the condition and encouraging others to share their experiences. In addition to raising awareness, Bella has shared her story through interviews and videos, including a touching video documenting her journey. However, there are different types of lymphedema, but the type that Bella has, primary lymphedema, affects only about 1 in 100,000 people. Bella was the first baby in England to be diagnosed with it. After being discovered by a modeling agency, she started modeling at the age of 13. Nowadays, she studies beauty and therapy. When Isaiah Bird started wrestling, knowing he had a severe disadvantage due to missing his legs, he never expected that one day he would shine in a Nike commercial. Isaiah began wrestling at the age of 6, and within a year, he was already very good. His love for wrestling started after seeing his older brother compete and deciding he wanted to try it too. Initially, he struggled to find a team that would accept him due to his physical limitations. but eventually he found a local coach willing to work with him. With the help of prosthetics, he joined the team and started competing, using his superior upper body strength to gain an edge. Despite facing many challenges, Isaiah worked hard and quickly found success on the wrestling mat. In his first year of competition, he won several matches and became a valuable member of his team. He continued to train, even in the face of criticism and doubts from others who believed he couldn't compete at a high level. Isaiah's story should inspire everyone to pursue their passions and dreams, regardless of how they look. When Miliana Worthy was born, she already had a lot of hair, but the most noticeable part was a white patch of hair on her forehead, the same patch her mother has. Miliana was born in Ridgeland, South Carolina, and her white patch of hair was caused by a skin and hair condition known as poliosis. It's a condition that results in the lack of pigment in the affected area, and it's not harmful and doesn't require treatment. However, it can sometimes be associated with other health issues, like autoimmune disease. She inherited this unique feature from her mother, Brianna, who also has a white streak in her hair, as well as her grandmother and great-grandmother. Miliana is the fourth generation in her family to exhibit this rare trait. Despite facing teasing and negative comments from others, Brianna plans to raise her daughter with confidence and self-love, reminding her that she's beautiful and special just as she is. You've probably heard of albinism, a condition that causes a lack of skin and hair pigment. But this is extremely unique when it happens in twins. Meet Lara and Mara, who are probably the most popular albino sisters in the world. And interestingly, the girls have an older sister who doesn't have albinism. The fact that Lara and Mara have albinism isn't even the most incredible part of their story either, as the 11-year-old girls literally break all stereotypes in the beauty industry. They love to pose and take pictures, so no wonder the fashion company Terra Nova invited them for a photo shoot. Furthermore, the girls tell us that they're very proud of their albinism, and that they love their skin and hair very much. This 11-year-old boy from the Philippines, whose name is unknown, was born with a rare condition that makes his legs look like a flamingo's legs. Because of this occurrence, his knees bent the wrong way, and he had to undergo surgery to normalize his life. Now he's learning to walk in a new way, and we hope he makes it so he can go through life normally again. Bajanenza Liberata is a woman from Rwanda who gave birth to a child with the head of an alien. Because of the way her child looked, her husband decided to abandon her and called the child a devil's child. Bullies in her village called the child an alien. The birth came as a shock to the woman, as she had previously given birth without any problems. During her pregnancy, there were no complications, and she stayed home until she went to the hospital to give birth. But like her husband, doctors were surprised when they discovered the child's head. His mother fought for his treatment and to get a good quality of life for her son. Although she has had to overcome many challenges, the woman has not given up hope. She continues to care for her child and hopes that he can lead a full life. Fortunately, she is not alone. Thanks to the company of Aframax, who shared the story with the world, she received help. Donations began to come in, enough to go to the city and eventually have an operation. Let's hope that the alien boy is doing well nowadays. Tessa's condition is so rare that it's been reported in only 47 individuals since 1931, making it one of the rarest congenital abnormalities known to medical science. As a result, limited information is available regarding the long-term prognosis and treatment options for individuals with this condition. Tessa Evans is one of those 47 people. She was born with an exceptionally rare condition called CCA, which means she was born without a nose. Tessa underwent a groundbreaking cosmetic nose implant, becoming the first person in the world to undergo this procedure. The process will involve multiple surgeries to replace the implant as Tessa grows older, allowing the nose to change and grow with her face. Ultimately, when she's a teenager, she will receive the final prostheses that will be tattooed with light and dark shades to make it appear like a real body part. Can you imagine having fish scales instead of skin? It's not a metaphor or a way to say you're a big Aquaman fan. It's a real skin condition. And this little boy has it. Pan Jinhang is an 8-year-old boy from Wenling, East China, who suffers from a rare and hereditary skin condition called ichthyosis. This disease causes dry, thickened, and scaly skin, often described as skin resembling that of a fish. In Pan's case, the condition has affected his entire body, including his face and limbs, making it difficult for him to move and sweat normally. Ichthyosis is extremely rare and is caused by a genetic mutation that is often inherited from both parents, but in some rare cases, the mutation can occur spontaneously without an inherited link. The condition is usually diagnosed at birth or in early childhood, and there is no cure. The symptoms of ichthyosis can vary depending on the type and severity of the condition. Common symptoms include dry, scaly skin, rough or thickened patches on the skin, and itching or burning sensations. The next story is about a boy named Oliver Rowe, who is known as the tallest teenager in the world. It goes without saying that with such a height, he also became a basketball star. Oliver is considerably taller than any other teenager, as he's 2.26 meters and he's also the tallest boy in his school. When Oliver was 11, he started growing very quickly, and since then, the growth never stopped. Today, Oliver is called the world's tallest teenager by Guinness World Records. Before he started playing basketball, he played at the youth soccer club of Real Madrid. So, as you can tell, the boy has many talents. He finally decided to go for basketball, and it was a good decision, because he's already managed to attract the attention of famous basketball players Steph Curry and Joel Embiid. And who knows, we might see him playing in the NBA in the future. Brock Brown is a giant boy who stands at an incredible 7 feet 9 inches or 236 centimeters tall. At the time, he was crowned the tallest teenager in the world, and doctors thought he would not make it to adulthood. In fact, Brock was born with Soto syndrome, a genetic disorder known mainly as cerebral gigantism, which means he just keeps growing. Fortunately today, he's found his dream job and now works in a sports center. Callie and Carter Torres are conjoined twins born in Idaho. They were born in 2017 and have since overcome the odds together. Although they share a chest and liver, Callie and Carter have their own heart and stomach. Their mother, Chelsea, decided to not separate them and focus on their development in daily life. Despite the challenges that come with being connected, the sisters lead a happy and healthy life. Twins who are connected are a rare phenomenon, occurring only in 1 in 50,000 to 1 in 200,000 births. Whether someone will survive is mainly dependent on their body structure and the degree of organ sharing. The mother said she believes Callie and Carter have a strong bond, and that separation would be too risky for them. She also wants them to live as normal a life as possible, and believes that separation would cause them physical and emotional trauma. According to the mother, the twins don't know any different and are very happy together. Patero Byakatanda is a boy who lives in a remote village in Uganda. Unfortunately, he was born with a rare genetic condition known as Crouzon syndrome. This condition has pushed his skull into a cone shape, making it difficult for him to see, eat, and even breathe normally. Fortunately, Patero's condition caught the attention of a world-renowned surgeon, Dr. Kenneth Selyer. Dr. Selyer leads a charitable organization called the World Craniofacial Foundation, which helps children around the world with severe skull deformities. Thanks to this incredible organization, Patero was able to receive help. However, the surgery was not without risks, as his brain had grown upwards instead of forwards, and his eyes had bulged to the point where he was nearly losing his eyesight. However, with the help of Dr. Selyer and his team, Patero's brain was corrected, and early signs indicate that he will make a full recovery. Dr. Selyer injected proteins into the affected areas, which should help normalize the growth of Patero's head. Patero's story has also been an inspiration to many, and his journey was broadcasted on popular TLC and Discovery channels in 2007. Although Crouzon syndrome may be a rare condition, the World Craniofacial Foundation continues to help over 75 children from around the world each year. Hayley O'Keens was an English author and activist born on December 3, 1997, and she passed away on April 2, 2015, at the age of 17. She was diagnosed with progeria at the age of 2, an extremely rare genetic disease that causes rapid aging in children. Despite the average life expectancy for individuals with this condition being 13 years, she participated in a drug trial that allowed her to surpass her doctor's predictions for her lifespan. Hayley was known for raising awareness about progeria and often traveled from her home in England to Boston in the United States to receive new treatments. Her autobiography, Old Before My Time, was published in 2012. Progeria affects only about 1 in 20 million people, and there are approximately 100 known cases worldwide. The symptoms of progeria typically become evident in the first few months of life and include growth failure, loss of body fat and hair, wrinkled skin, stiff joints, and cardiovascular problems. Children with progeria often have a distinctive appearance, such as a small face, narrow nose, and prominent ears. It's quite common to have one or more birthmarks, but the following case of a boy named Anki is quite unique. In fact, the boy was born with a unique birthmark on his face. It immediately surprised the doctors, and they noticed that the 8-year-old boy's hair kept growing on one side of his face. This is a very unusual and rare condition, and at the time of birth, doctors didn't know how to cure the boy. Unfortunately, Anki was also regularly bullied at school, and it was difficult for the boy to cope with the situation. However, some scientists and doctors who heard about the boy offered him the chance for free treatment at a hospital in Changchun, China. Let's hope he's doing well today. Olivia Farnsworth is a very unique girl, as she can't feel pain, hunger, or fatigue. We could also call her a girl with superpowers, even though doctors said she is bionic. Unfortunately, this super rare condition comes with some danger, because since she can't feel pain, she could easily get hurt, or since she doesn't feel hunger, she could forget about eating. Zhao Huqiang is a boy from China who was born with a rare condition known as craniofacial duplication. What happens is that the embryo does not divide properly, which can result in a fetus with two identical or fused faces. Craniofacial duplication is an incredible rare condition, with very few cases reported worldwide. It's estimated to occur in less than 1 in 1 million live births. In Zhao's case, it resulted in him being born with 4 eyes, 2 noses, and 2 lips, which required multiple surgical procedures to correct. His story gained international attention when images of him with a self-made mask went viral on social media. The mask was designed to conceal the second face. After multiple surgeries, including adding a forehead, nose, and teeth to his second face, the boy can now smile and play like any other child. He was abandoned by his parents at birth and taken into an orphanage. At the age of 2, Zhao was discovered by a photographer, Wu Yongning, who took photos of the boy. This brought attention to the boy's medical condition and led to a wave of support and donations to help with his medical treatment. In early 2013, it was reported that Huqiang was doing well and attending school like other children. Adalia Rose was an inspiring teenager from the United States who was diagnosed with Hutchinson-Gilford progeria, also known as the Benjamin Button disease. This condition, which affects only about 500 children worldwide, results in growth problems and features that reflect early aging. Hutchinson-Gilford progeria affects an estimated 1 in 6 million people worldwide, and only about 500 children have been diagnosed with this condition in the world. Additionally, it leads to premature aging, with an average life expectancy of only 13 years. However, Adalia managed to reach the age of 15. At birth, Adalia appeared like any other baby. But at the age of 3 months, her parents noticed that she was different, and shortly after, she received her official diagnosis. Her condition caused her to grow slowly in her first year of life and lose her hair, with physical features worsening as she grew older. The condition resulted in a small, fragile body, and her bones became brittle and thin, making them prone to easy fractures. While Adalia's condition may have been rare and challenging, she turned it into a successful YouTube channel that has over 3 million subscribers at the time of her passing. Before he was simply dismissed as a spoiled, disobedient toddler who was irritable all the time, Rhett Lamb's parents took him to the doctor. You'd probably be irritable too if you could only sleep for an hour a day. Rhett was born in St. Petersburg, Florida in 2005, and from a young age, he struggled with sleep and developmental delays. Eventually, Rhett was diagnosed with Chiari, a rare neurological disorder that affects the brain and spinal cord. The condition caused Rhett to be awake for nearly 24 hours, leading to various behavioral problems. Despite multiple doctor visits, the condition remained undiagnosed until he was about 3 years old. He then underwent a risky surgery to remove bone around his brainstem and spinal cord, creating more space and reducing pressure. The surgery was successful, and Rhett was finally able to sleep through the night. His behavior improved significantly, and he began to interact with other children and achieve developmental milestones. What makes you unique? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.